But please, if you don't mind, for the sake of your poor old dad, keep the door open 3 inches. Here's your look at the Bandai Stranger Things The Void series, Hopper. Bandai brings one of the most iconic and popular shows, Stranger Things, to life with these detailed figures that are a love letter to 80s pop culture. Fans and collectors alike can bring home their favorite characters and monsters from the series that captivated audiences and became a global phenomenon. Jim Hopper is the chief of police in the sleepy town of Hawkins, Indiana, who gets thrust from a simple life of local cop to unwitting player in a government conspiracy where he encounters dangers from this world and beyond. Before we get a closer look at Hopper, once again, I'd like to thank the folks over at Bandai that provided this sample of the Stranger Things The Void series Hopper and previously looked at 11 that we've looked at here on this channel. Before, of course, we get a closer look at the figure, let's grab my ruler, put it right to the very top of Hopper's head. The figure stands 7¼ inches in height, or 18½ centimeters tall. Marking now the second Stranger Things The Void series figure that we have looked at, it's very easy then to do a comparison. We're going to move over Hopper and bring in the previously looked at 11. Again, not a bad looking figure other than just the way that they've broken up the tops of her thighs really did kind of just disrupt the sculpting of what could have been a really good figure. Still like the look of 11. As you can clearly see, though, 11 only goes to about the shoulder area of Hopper, which I guess is accurate based on the way that she looks in the series. She's shorter, of course, than Hopper. I think they've scaled the figures pretty good accordingly to one another. Some sad news for Hopper. Like 11, there's a big void that's next to the figure, no pun intended, because the figure doesn't come included with any accessories. It's sort of strange, though, with Hopper, because the way that they've sculpted his hands, it really does look like he was supposed to come included with accessories. For some reason or another, neither this one or 11 has included a display stand or has included any accessories to speak of. Of course, we'll get a closer look now at Hopper. It's a little harder to do a comparison of what Hopper looks like, simply just because the way that Hopper looks like right now is the way he's going to be looking at in the upcoming season. I'm not so used to seeing Hopper with clean-shaven face like this, although they have done a pretty good job of putting in stubble on his face as well as the top of his head as well. We can only assume he's a prisoner by this point of the season. It's not really giving anything away. I mean, most of the reveals of Hopper surviving was pretty much already out there way into the summer, long even before they announced the new season. So, of course, what we are getting here is Hopper with, I'm guessing, a prison suit, which, of course, has a patch on the top corner of his torso there. Not really sure what that translates to. If anybody is able to speak that or know and interpret that, let me know down below in the comment section. It probably is just some, I'm guessing it says American. It's my guess, at least, only going by the fact it's AME. But of course, it could be something completely different. Let me know down below in the comment section. At the end of that season, they did, in fact, mention the American. So again, that's why I'm guessing that that's probably what it says right there. Head sculpt-wise, short of the fact he doesn't have a beard or mustache, I guess it's a pretty close resemblance to the actor. I'm a big fan myself of the actor that plays Hopper in the series. That's David Harbour, by the way, who, of course, was also in Black Widow and was in, I thought, a pretty good Hellboy movie as well. Because he's a little on the clean-shaven side, he also looks not only like David Harbour, but I find he looks a little bit also like Dominic Purcell from Prison Break. Somewhat ironic I'm saying that because, of course, Prison Break was based on prisoners escaping prison, which I'm guessing is probably what they're going to be doing with Hopper as well. The face sculpt is good. Like I said, the coloring is much better. I find like the skin tone that they went with for Hopper seems a little more warmer than the colors that they went with for 11. As we spin it around, you can see on the back there's some really, again, nice stuckled in stubble that they've actually painted on there. Really, really nicely handled. As for the rest of his outfit, it's really a much departure from what we normally would have gotten from Hopper. Again, head to toe, what looks to be prison outfit here. The colors are pretty good. I mean, the lower legs seem like a slightly lighter blue to the top of his jacket. I'm assuming that they probably would be matching the colors of blue when it comes to issuing out prison attire. But yeah, it does look like it's a different color of blue from the top to the bottom. At least to his credit, though, nothing seems disjointed on Hopper, unlike what we got with 11, which again had the very obvious sections of the tops of her thighs. Sculpting of the jacket is pretty good. I can feel, though, that while I'm moving the figure around, there seems some loose aspects to it. loose tops of his thighs, for example, which we'll talk more about when it comes to the articulation. And I find like the top of his torso also feels a little on the looser side. The figure does have upper torso ball joint, which is good. And it does look at least consistently of the same sculpt. It doesn't look like it's broken up like we've got with 11 here. When it comes to certainly the articulation of the figure, one last time just to spin this around. This is a softer material right here. At least the lower part of the jacket is a softer material, while all the rest of it seems more of a solid plastic. But yeah, things do seem a little on the looser side when we look at Hopper here. Talking about his articulation, by the way, the head is on a ball joint, so it rotates back and forth. It's a little harder to actually rotate his head all the way around, simply just because he's got the collar of his jacket kind of higher up here. That really, as a resulting of it, you can only really move the head back and forth this way. Sure, yeah, you can move it up, and you can move it down. And it seems as if he does have, like 11, a secondary ball joint at the base of the neck. Although to do anything really with it, you really have to put a lot of extra force against it. It's a little tighter the first time I took the figure out of the packaging. I guess in a way it has developed more of a looseness the longer I've been doing this. But yeah, he does have a ball joint at the base of the neck as well. Again, it's a little loose here when it comes to his shoulders. His arms do rotate all the way around, which is nice. But then there's a secondary socketed joint at the tops of the shoulders. I haven't had it happen yet in this review, but earlier on when I was sort of playing with the figure, taking it out of the packaging, this socket joint did pop out. I just had to push everything back in. Yeah, the socket joint sort of does look like a separate piece. Well, it is literally a separate piece. It does look like it really didn't need to belong there in the first place, but I guess they do put it in there just to give him an extra range of motion and to conceal the joints of the shoulder inside, because you really can't see it. You can only really see these big, kind of awkward-looking shoulder cups that are in the tops of the shoulders. Anyways, the arms do rotate all the way around. They move out, not quite at a 90-degree angle bend, but just a little less than 90 degrees. Figure does have a single hinge on the elbow, and it does rotate here. I did mention, I think, when we did the review of 11, that she did have a swivel right here. And the swivels really are just barely mentioned. Just a little bit right here. It's more so just the way it's articulated. It does, like I said, rotate, but it rotates more from the lower arm end of things than it does the actual joint in the elbow. So it's actually more here than it is here. Hands rotate also all the way around. Seems to be on a pin joint. It allows the hands to rotate all the way around in a full 360 rotation. Upper torso is on a ball joint. Very loose again. I mean, you can almost do it like a dinner bell when it comes to moving the top of the torso back and forth. Figure does have a lower torso ball joint. The legs do split out. They also go forward and back. Swivel at the top of the thigh, basically where that's attached to the ball joint. There's the ball joint right there. Figure has a double hinge. I guess a single hinge in the knee, but it certainly serves as almost a double hinge the way that you're able to bend it. And the lower leg sort of is like the elbow. Can't really rotate it too much. There's just a little bit of a wiggle, but not too much though. Feet move up and down. We didn't really have much of a chance to really look at the shoes. Those are the shoes there on Hopper. And surprisingly enough, the figure doesn't have toe articulation. 11 had toe articulation, but for one reason or another, Hopper doesn't come included with it. He only has just an ankle pivot. Hopper's a bit different here because I feel less attached to this particular figure. A lot of it really has something to do with more so the fact that he's just sculpted based on the way he's going to be looking at in the upcoming season. Comparing the two, really, I actually think I like 11 just a little bit more. Yeah, she's awkwardly built from like the waist down. But at least I feel while looking at 11, she resembles more the 11 than I'm used to seeing from the series. Hopper, because of course he's clean shaven, I'm used to having Hopper with the full beard. And because he doesn't have that, again, he kind of looks a little like Dominic Purcell, actually, from Prison Break. A little bit of the combination of the two. Nice looking figure, but because, again, we don't have yet the new season of Stranger Things airing, which I think is supposed to be airing the early end of 2022, it's a little harder for me to be invested into a character or the sculpt of Hopper here. I would have loved to have seen them do like a regular Hopper with the actual police officer outfit, the chief outfit that he normally would have worn. I think that would have been nice, or even like the tropical shirt. I get the idea that, of course, with both of these characters, they're supposed to be based more, I think, on the newer season that we're going to be getting. But again, looking at the two, I think, honestly, 11 is my favorite of the two figures that Bandai have done so far. To really Hopper's credit, I think he's put together better than what we got with 11. He doesn't look as disjointed, and there's not parts to his body that look like they're awkwardly sticking out. Again, I'm drawing the attention to 11's top thigh area. Maybe a lot of it has something to do with the fact that Hopper's a bigger looking character, and he didn't really need to have things on the tops of his legs sticking out, because again, the articulation would have been more lined up with the way that the shape of his body is. He also does have a longer jacket as well, keeping in mind. So a lot of the articulation that is still there, that was also there in 11, can be hidden a little bit better on Hopper. The only thing I think is shooting Bandai in the foot here with this release of Hopper is it's an unfamiliar design of the character. This may be the way that Hopper's going to look in the upcoming season, but because we don't have that season out yet, there may be fans of Stranger Things that may just pass altogether picking up Hopper, maybe if anything picking up 11, because at least that looks like 11. Because he's clean shaven here, some people may just decide altogether not to pick up this figure. That is until, of course, the new season starts, and then maybe then people will be going back and picking up this version of Hopper over a more traditional looking Hopper with the longer beard. Either way, though, a big thank you to the folks over at Bandai that provided this sample of the Stranger Things, the Void series Hopper. Let me know down below in the comments section, are you also excited for the new season to air of Stranger Things? I can't wait. Robert Englund is also apparently in the new season. I can't wait for that to air. And of course, if you are new to this channel, you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, do a couple of things for yourself. Do a couple of solids. First of which, hit that subscribe button down below. Second of which, turning on that bell notification so you're getting those friendly reminders. Third of which, make sure you're coming back to this channel regularly because there's always new videos popping up. And we are going to be looking at more Stranger Things stuff from not only the folks over at Bandai, but other companies also as well. So keep your peepers peeled to that channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.